Hello and welcome to Algebra. Today we're going to be looking at factoring where the leading coefficient is 1. This is the basic version of factoring when you have a trinomial. What's the factored form of x squared plus 8x plus 15? Well, there's a few things that we need to look at. First of all, this sign in front of the constant, that's going to tell us several things. If you look at some sort of a problem, say x plus 2 times x plus 3. If you multiply two binomials, remember we use the FOIL, first outside, inside last. So that's going to be x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. This sign, if you think about it, what we did was we took the 2 and the 3. By the way, this is, when we talk about factored form, we're really trying to start with something like this and go to something like this, the two binomials that have been multiplied together. So what we're looking for, this 2 and this 3, they multiplied to give me 6. Well, for it to multiply to give me 6, they had to be the same sign. They had to give me a positive result. They couldn't be different. If that was a 3 and a negative 2, it would have given me a negative 6. So if you get a negative here at the end, that this constant term is positive, it means that the two numbers that were multiplied together, they had to either both be positive or both be negative. Those are the only possibilities. So we want some number that's going to multiply to give me positive 15. This means that if they ended up with a positive 15, they had to be, these factors like 2 and 3, they had to be the same sign. That we absolutely know. And that's the first place that we go when we look at one of these problems. It also means that in the middle, in this linear term, remember degree 1, that means that we're adding these. 3 plus 2 would give me 5x. So when we find some factors of 15, just like factors of 6, the factors of 6 here were 2 and 3. They multiplied to give me 6, but they added to give me 5. So when we're trying to go from the trinomial back to two multiplied binomials, we want to try to figure out, okay, based on that constant sign, this positive here on the third term, do the same sign because it's a positive. It also means that I add the factors. So I'm going to find some factors of 15. Now I like to pull a little factor tree and then write out the different factors of 15. Here 15 is pretty simple, so this is just 3 times 5. So I'm going to find some factors of 15. Some factors of 15. Well, 15 could be 1 times 15. 15 could be, you notice there's no 2 here, so nothing multiplies by 2 to give me 15. 3 does. I can see a 3 here. And there's a 5 also with it. So pull out the 3, you've got a 5 left over. So 3 times 5 is 15. Does 4 work? No, I don't see any 4s here. There'd have to be some 2s. There'd have to be 2 2s for that to work. So now I found all the different factors of 15. 4 didn't work. 5, I'm back up the next side of this little, the next column there. And so I need something that's going to add. We said it's the same sign, add the factors because this is positive. If this were negative, there'd be different signs in the answer, and you'd need to subtract the factors. These need to add up to 8. Well, 1 plus 15 is 16. That's not going to work. 3 plus 5, that is 8. So this is what I'm looking for. These are my sort of magic numbers. I need them to add up to a positive 8. So these need to be positive. So they need to multiply to 15. That's the case. They need to add up to 8, positive 8. That's the case. So when the leading coefficient is 1, we can just say x plus 3 times x plus 5. What is a factored form? This is the factored form. What's nice about this chapter, when we're dealing with polynomials and you're trying to factor them, it's nice we can go ahead and we can double check to make sure that the answer is correct. Let's go ahead and FOIL this and make sure that we end up with this trinomial. First, x squared, outside, plus 5x, inside, plus 3x, and last, plus 15. And then we do need to combine the two linear terms, x squared plus 8x plus 15. And you notice that does check out. That's the same thing that we had originally. So this is truly the factored form. We know it 100%. Now, what's the factored form of this one? Well, again, that positive on the constant means that they're same signs. The factors of 24 have to be the same sign. And we know that we have to add the factors of 24 to try to get 11. So for 24, let's see, that's 2 times 12, and 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So let's combine everything we possibly can to get 24. Any factors, those things that multiply to give me 24. Let's see, 1 and 24, don't forget that one. It's very easy to, because it's kind of the obvious one. Does 2 work? Yes, here's 2. And when I pull out that 2, what's left over? These 3 here. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Do you see a 3? Sure, 3 is right here. What's left over? We got 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Do I see a 4? Yes. If I combine those two 2's, so 2 times 2 is 4. And what's left over? These. 2 times 3. 2 times 3 would be 6. Do I see a 5? No, I see no 5. And for this to work, you have to break them down into prime numbers. That is, numbers that only are divisible by 1 and the number itself. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on. 5 doesn't work. 6, I'm up the next column, so I know these are the only possible factors. Now I need these factors to add to give me 11 because the sign on the constant is a positive. So they need to add to 11. What adds to 11? 3 and 8. So 3 plus 8 gives me 11. The problem is I need it to add to a negative 11. Well, they have to be the same sign, but this sign doesn't tell you what that sign is. We know, since this is a negative, that they're going to have to add to a negative 11. So both of these need to be 11. Need to be negative. So this is x minus 3, x minus 8. Now, we think that's our answer, but we do need to double check. First, we're going to do our FOIL. First is x squared. Outside is minus 8x. Inside is minus 3x. And last is plus 24. Combine the linear terms. X squared minus 11x plus 24. And that does check out, so this works. What's a factored form of x squared plus 2x minus 15? This time we have a negative as the sign of the constant being the term with degree 0. So we have a negative back here. That means that we're going to subtract the factors. It also means that we're going to have different signs. So let's take a look. What are the factors of 15? Well, we have 15 is just 3 times 5. So the factors of 15 would be 1 and 15. Don't forget that one. 2 doesn't work. I don't see a 2 here. 3 I do. 3 and 5. And I don't see any 2's, so I definitely don't see that a 4 would work. And 5, I'm up the next column. So 1, yes. 2, no. 3, yes. 4, no. 5, we're up the next column. Those are all the factors. Now, we need something to subtract to give me 2. 15 minus 1, that's 14. Nope. 5 minus 3 is 2. That does work. So 5 and 3 are my 2. Now, the thing is, I need to try to figure out which sign, which number gets the plus sign. Well, think about it. 5 minus 3, positive 5 minus 3 would give me a positive 2. 3 minus 5 will give me negative 2. So you just have to do a little trial and error. Also, the positive sign will go with the bigger number, the bigger absolute value. So the positive is going to go with the 5, and the negative goes with the 3. Remember, they have to be different signs. So we have x minus 3 and x plus 5. We think that's our answer. Let's try it with FOIL. First is x squared. outside plus 5x, inside minus 3x, and last minus 15. Combine the linear terms, x squared plus 2x minus 15, and you notice that did work. So this is our correct answer. Now this is just putting it a little bit of a different way. Here we have the area, and we want to find the dimensions. Remember, the dimensions are the length and the width. So that's just a fancy way of saying what are the length and the width. Of course, the dimensions on a three-dimensional object would be length, width, and height. So we could length, width, height. So we want to go ahead and factor this. It's what we've been doing. We're just going to have to, since they asked in words, we're going to have to answer in words as well. So x squared minus 2x minus 35. We need to find the factors, we need to look at the sign. This means that they're different signs, and we're going to subtract the factors. Well, let's find the factors of 35. I know 35 is 5 times 7, so I'm going to start out with the obvious one, 1 and 35. 2, no. 3, no. 4, no. 5, yes. 5 times 7. 6, no. 7, I'm up the next column. So these are all the factors, all the possible factors. Now, what is going to subtract to give me 2? 35 minus 1 is 34. 7 minus 5 is 2. Now, they're different signs. The negative should go with the larger absolute value. 7 is the larger absolute value, so it gets the negative, and the 5 gets the positive. So negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. Negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. So we're going to say x plus 5 and x minus 7. I think that's my answer. Let's double check. FOIL, x squared minus 7x plus 5x minus 35. Negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. And you notice this is correct. Now, the only thing that changes when we have a word problem here is that we have to answer in words. So the dimensions, or we should say possible dimensions, the possible dimensions are x plus 5 and x minus 7. Now you may ask, could you switch these? Could you say x minus 7 and x plus 5? And you certainly can. The commutative property multiplication says that you can switch them back and forth. That does it for today. Thank you so much.